Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Black Magic Craft. It has been a little while since we've seen each other. My apologies. I'm not dead. Some of you are probably wondering if I was dead, but I'm not. I kind of feel like it though sometimes because I'm pretty tired. The last month, as you know, has been super busy with Idols of Torment. We're into production. Look at this. We got physical proofs of our pages from our book and our cards, and everything is signed off on, paid for, and in production. Me and my family took a much needed family trip to Germany, spent a couple weeks there, so that's why there's been radio silence lately, but I am back and I built something. Just a classic BMC style easy project to get back into the swing of things. And when I say simple, I mean it's really simple. Y'all don't need very much to do this. Today I'm even making these modular ruins, something I've made before, but these are even easier than the old school ones that I did. Require less tools, less special material, and they are way more durable. They are like basically like rubber, squishy, just they're gonna hold up to all sorts of abuse. These are the perfect build if you play in a club or at a store or something like that. So for these, I just used basic foam core. Now you don't have to use foam core. You could definitely get away with using cardboard for this. Myself, I used some of the foam core that had been kind of ruined by my daughter who likes to use it for, painting on and stuff when doing crafts. This is the perfect project to use up that material. 3.5 inches is a pretty good height for modular walls for most war games, and you want to cut a bunch of strips at that height. And rather than measuring and laying it out, grab something that's 3.5 inches wide. I'm using a piece of flat trim stock. You can use a 2x4, whatever you got, and then that way you can just move it. You don't have to measure, and you can cut all your strips. And once you got a nice stack of these, you can go ahead and start messing up the top of them. Make some wavy cuts. These are made in 3 layers, and you want the center layer to be the tallest. So as you're cutting these, cut 2 kind of shorter ones for every taller one that you do. Take your hot glue gun and make some foam or cardboard sandwiches. Put the biggest one in the middle, glue on a lower one on one side and a lower one on the other side. Make sure the bottoms are all lined up nice and flush. And then you'll have a bunch of the raw walls to start working with. To achieve a brick pattern, or whatever pattern you want, we're gonna use a combination of caulking and a texture rolling pin, much like I've used on a lot of previous projects. With this one, I think you can get away with using cheaper caulking, just Alex Plus. You don't need a silicone blend that's more flexible because these are not actually gonna be bending very much. So use whatever kind of paintable caulking you can get your hands on. Smooth it out, kind of. It doesn't need to be smooth, but you just want a somewhat even coating. And if you want to add some sort of textured pattern, grab a textured rolling pin. Now, the ones I use are from Green Stuff World. There are probably a bunch of other companies that make them, and I highly encourage you to go check them out, try to find whatever you can. Just Google textured rolling pins and support a small company if you can find one making them. You want to make sure whatever roller you're using is dipped or coated in soapy water. This will make sure that your caulking doesn't stick to it. This works really well. I love it. It's so friggin' good. Of course, if you don't have a rolling pin, you can just do kind of like a concrete texture using a paint roller or sprinkling some sand on or whatever. Depends how good you want these kind of cheap ruins to look. Of course, you have to do the other side. I realized after doing one side that they would have to dry before I could flip them and do the other side. In retrospect, maybe put this on before assembling the layers? Just a thought. And since I gotta wait for those to cure, now is as good time as any to talk about the sponsor of this week's video, Into the Am, my buddies who make wicked, cool, vibrant t-shirts. They got tons of designs, good sales all the time. Their prints are so vibrant and colorful and good quality, and their shirts fit well. They're always adding new stuff to their shop. Oh, ooh, I like this one. Oh yeah, this one is super nice. Beautiful synthwave vibes. Look at that color. Magenta and yellow, tasty. If you want to get some of these shirts for yourself, and I encourage you to give them a go, use my link in the video description to get there. That way you'll get 10% off your order. Don't pay full price. Paying full price is for losers. Don't do it. All right, those things are probably dry. I can flip them over and just repeat the same thing on the other side. Maybe thinking the tops of these look too wavy and smooth and not very much like runes. And I had the same thought too. So I went in with my good old trusty Olfa knife and just hacked them a bit more, just really broke them up. Got things more jagged, more gnarly. Just go to town with this, don't be shy. And once you have your tops looking decent, you can assemble your pieces in whatever kind of formations you want. I suggest just slicing them at angles and then breaking them and ripping them to get jagged ends, and you can just hot glue your pieces together. If you want to get some more funky angles, don't be afraid to do some miter cuts and put things at weird angles. If you have some bigger pieces that might get a little too flimsy, take some of your garbage scrap, just the offcuts, and glue in little corner pieces. That's gonna stabilize things and make them a lot stronger. This is a hack and slash project. It's a get it done sort of thing, so don't be too finicky here. You're probably building this sort of thing because you're in a hurry and need things quickly, or you just need a whole bunch of them. Now, obviously the tops of these look like crap and they're not gonna hold up to anything. So you wanna grab some more of that caulking and do a texture paste on top. You don't have to, but you can mix in some aggregate, some fine sand, maybe some rocks, and then just brush it all over the exposed surfaces. This is gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. One, it's gonna make it look better. It's gonna protect that foam. It's gonna make everything more flexible. So also blend all the layers together, and you can use this to cover some of your pattern to sort of blend it from stone to just concrete or whatever you're doing. All in all, it's just the magic sauce you gotta put on this stuff to make it more gooder. And if you wash your brush right after doing this, you can still save it. It's not gonna ruin your brush because the caulking is water soluble, or at least the stuff I used is, you should use water soluble stuff. It's better, easier to clean. The next step is purely optional. The underside of these, you can coat them with some more of the caulking just to seal that up. Make sure that if you decide to spray paint these, that foam on the bottom is not gonna melt. This is actually gonna give them a little bit of traction on the board, make them more sticky so they don't move around, and it's gonna add even a little bit more weight, which is great. And then you can paint them however you want. If you wanna just brush them with some black paint and start working up from there, you can. Since all this is really coated and fine, there's no reason not to spray paint them. I personally use some black flat primer because it is fast and it dries nice and flat. And then I painted them with a very basic dry brushing. These are not the most fancily built detailed things, so I'm not gonna get into things like airbrushing. These are something you can just paint with your kids if you want. Take 3 shades of gray, a dark, medium, and light gray, and just dry brush through those different colors, getting lighter and lighter. I didn't even put a wash on these. Of course you can. You could decorate them with moss or grass, washes, snow, whatever you want. But at their bare bones basics, they work really well and they look really good. So if you need to bang out a ton of terrain for your club, for your store, for your gaming group, for your kids who can, destroy it and you're not worried about them breaking it, they might, don't let your kids eat your terrain. But if kids bite this, they're not gonna wreck it. If whatever those things I just said sound like you, then this is the way you can accomplish a whole butt ton of pretty decent looking, modular runes very easily for basically no cost and fast. It's like all the things. It feels good to build stuff again because I haven't been able to build stuff lately as much as I would like to, or play games as much as I would like to. I really want to start playing more games again, but I should be able to do all these things more soon because a lot of my tasks are in the rear view mirror, thankfully. And get back to normal. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button. Let me know in the comment section below. Check out Idols of Torment, my original skirmish game if you want. It's a really cool game. I suggest you try playing it. You can get the PDF on myminifactory.com for hella cheap. Try it out. There's also all the minis. Or if you want to just support this channel and help me make more videos, don't forget the Black Magic Craft Patreon. Join the fellowship and help me keep making this stuff. It was good to see you again. Cheers. I'll see you next time. Peace. Doesn't taste that bad, actually.